We are born into a world of billions. From our first cry, we are placed into systems, categorized, compared, and subtly taught to fit in. We attend schools that standardize knowledge, enter job markets that seek predefined profiles, and navigate social networks that operate on trend-based algorithms. The noise is deafening. The pressure to be like others, to follow the script, to smooth the rough edges and file down the points that make us unique, is a constant gravitational force. And in the midst of this ocean of sameness, a silent question echoes in the soul of those who dare to listen. How can I be more? How can I leave a mark that is unmistakably my own? Succeeding in life. The phrase is so overused it has almost lost its meaning. For many, it evokes images of material wealth, power, and public recognition. But this is a superficial view, a mirage that, when reached, often proves to be empty. True victory is not about accumulating what the world values, but about becoming who you were born to be. To succeed is to wake up every day with a sense of purpose that burns brighter than your fatigue. It is to build a life that is a faithful reflection of your deepest values. It is to lay your head on the pillow at night knowing that you did not just exist, but that you lived with intention, with courage, and with impact. And the key to this, authentic victory, the master key that opens all doors, is differentiation. But make no mistake, differentiating yourself is not an act of performative rebellion. It is not about dyeing your hair an extravagant color just to shock, or adopting contrary opinions just to be a contrarian. These are masks, as false as the ones of conformity we try to avoid. True differentiation is a deeper, quieter, and infinitely more powerful process. It is an archaeological dig into your own soul to unearth your essence. It is the courageous act of taking that essence, with all its quirks, passions, scars, and unique talents, and polishing it until it shines with a light that no one else can replicate. This text is not a map with an X marking the treasure. It is a compass. It will not give you the answers, but it will ask you the right questions. It will not promise you a path without obstacles, but it will give you the tools to build your inner fortress and navigate any storm. Throughout the following words, we will embark on a journey divided into 3 great acts: the foundation, where we will do the inner excavation; the construction, where we will build our mark on the world; and the expansion, where we will learn to transcend personal success and create a legacy. If you are tired of being just another face in the crowd, if you feel there is a greater version of yourself waiting to emerge, then take a deep breath. The journey to stand out and succeed in life begins now. Part 1. The Foundation. The Inner Excavation. No one can build a skyscraper on a swamp. Before you project your brand to the world, before you set audacious goals and seek external recognition, you must build a rock-solid foundation of self-knowledge. Differentiation that endures is not a coat of paint. It is a structure that comes from the core. This first act is the most important and often the most neglected. It is here that you silence the external noise to listen to the only voice that truly matters. Your own. Chapter 1. The Map of Authenticity. Discovering your why. Imagine 2 stonecutters working under the scorching sun. A traveler approaches the first and asks, "What are you doing?" The man, his face contorted with effort, responds harshly, "I'm breaking these stupid rocks." The traveler then approaches the second, who, despite the sweat, has a twinkle in his eye and asks the same question. The second man stops, looks to the horizon, and says with a smile, "I'm building a cathedral." Both were doing the same task. The difference was in the purpose. Author and speaker Simon Sinek, in his seminal work, Start With Why, argues that the most influential and successful people and organizations in the world operate from the inside out. They know why they do what. They do, the cause, the purpose, the belief, then how, the processes and methods that differentiate them, and finally, what, the product or service they offer. The rest of the world, however, operates in the opposite direction. Your why is your cathedral. It is the fundamental reason that drives you, your unique contribution to the world. It is the answer to the question, what am I truly passionate about? What problem in the world bothers me so much that I feel a visceral need to solve it? Discovering your why is the first and most crucial step toward differentiation. It is your internal compass, the filter through which all your decisions should pass. When you know your purpose, your career ceases to be a job and becomes a calling. Your relationships deepen as you attract people who resonate with your cause. Your resilience multiplies as obstacles cease to be barriers and become part of the process of building your cathedral. How to find your why? Look to the past. What were the moments in your life when you felt most alive, most fulfilled? What were you doing? Who was with you? Write down these moments and look for patterns. Joy is a clue. Identify your pain. What is your greatest frustration with the world? What injustice makes your blood boil? Often, our greatest purpose is born from our greatest pain, or the pain we see in others and wish to heal. Define your non-negotiable values. What is most important to you in life? Freedom, security, creativity, impact, honesty, growth? List your top 5 core values. Your purpose will always be aligned with them. Do the friends test. Ask 5 close friends, why are you my friend? What value do I add to your life? Their answers may reveal strengths and qualities that you don't see in yourself. Your why doesn't have to be as grand as saving the world. It can be helping people feel more confident through fashion, creating spaces where people feel safe to be themselves, or simplifying complex processes so people have more time for what they love. What matters is that it is yours. Authentic, non-negotiable. It is the foundation of your cathedral, the first and most important piece of your differentiation. Chapter 2. The Forge of the Mindset. Building an unshakable mindset. With the map of your purpose in hand, you need to forge the psychological armor that will protect you on the journey. The road of differentiation is paved with criticism, failure, and moments of excruciating doubt. Those who try to stand out inevitably attract attention, and not all attention is positive. The world loves the status quo, and your attempt to break it will be seen as a threat by many. This is where the concept of mindset, popularized by psychologist Carol Dweck, comes in. She identifies 2 fundamental mindsets. Fixed mindset. People with this mindset believe that their qualities, like intelligence and talent, are fixed traits. They have a constant need to prove their worth and therefore avoid challenges, give up easily in the face of obstacles, see effort as fruitless, and feel threatened by the success of others. Failure is a verdict on their identity. Growth mindset. People with this mindset believe that their abilities can be developed through dedication and hard work. They embrace challenges, persist in the face of setbacks, see effort as the path to mastery, and find lessons and inspiration in the success of others. Failure is not a verdict, it is a stepping stone. To stand out and succeed, a growth mindset is not an option. It is a necessity. It is the immune system of your mind. How to forge a growth mindset. Reframe. Failure. Stop seeing failure as the opposite of success. It is part of the process. Every mistake, every attempt that didn't work is not proof of your inability. It is data. It is valuable feedback that shows you what doesn't work, allowing you to adjust your course and try again with more wisdom. Thomas Edison didn't fail 10,000 times to invent the light bulb. He discovered 10,000 ways how not to make a light bulb. Embrace yet. Replace limiting language with a language of possibility. Instead of saying, "I'm not good at public speaking," say, "I'm not good at public speaking yet." The word "yet" opens the door to growth and learning. Fall in love with the process, not just the prize. Authentic victory isn't just at the finish line, it's in the journey. Find joy in the daily effort, in deliberate practice, in the small 1% progress each day. When you love the process of becoming better, motivation becomes intrinsic and inexhaustible. Seek challenges. Deliberately step out of your comfort zone. If something feels too easy, you're probably not growing. Choose projects, tasks, and goals that stretch you just beyond your current capabilities. It is in the tension of the effort that the muscle of your potential grows. Your mindset is the filter through which you interpret reality. With a fixed mindset, an obstacle is a wall. With a growth mindset, the same obstacle is a ladder. Your ability to differentiate yourself will be directly proportional to your ability to persist when the path becomes difficult, and that persistence is born, grows, and lives in the forge of an unshakable mindset. Chapter 3. The Arsenal of Skills. Honing your weapon's authenticity and a strong mindset are the foundation. But to build something remarkable, you need tools. You need skills. In a competitive world, it's not enough to have a purpose. You need to be exceptionally good at something the world values. However, the idea that you need to be the world's #1 in a single skill is a paralyzing myth. Cartoonist and author Scott Adams proposed a much more powerful concept: the skills stack. The idea is that instead of trying to be the best at one thing, you can become extraordinarily valuable by being very good, top 25%, at 2 or more complementary skills. For example, an average engineer who is also an excellent communicator and has a basic understanding of design becomes far more valuable than a brilliant engineer who cannot explain their ideas. The combination of skills is what creates your unique differentiation. How to build your arsenal of skills. Identify your anchor. Skill. What is your primary area of interest or talent, aligned with your why? This is the base of your stack. Dedicate yourself to becoming truly good at it. Add complementary layers. Now, think about what other skills, when combined with your anchor, would create powerful synergy. Communication. This is the universal meta skill. Learning to write with clarity, speak in public with confidence, and tell engaging stories is a superpower in any field. Psychology, empathy, understanding what motivates people, how they make decisions, and how they feel is crucial for leadership, sales, marketing, and, frankly, for being a better human being. Technology. By 2025, having a basic understanding of technology, automation, and data analysis is no longer optional. You don't need to be a programmer, but you need to understand how to use technology to your advantage. Negotiation and finance. Learning to negotiate your value and manage your financial resources is the difference between being a talented amateur and a thriving professional. Invest in lifelong learning. A university degree is just the starting point. The world changes too quickly to rely on what you learned 10 years ago. Dedicate time and resources to learning constantly. Read books, take online courses, listen to podcasts, attend workshops. Turn yourself into a learning machine. Your unique combination of skills, built on the foundation of your purpose and forged with a growth mindset, is what will make you irreplaceable. While others are one-dimensional specialists, you will become a polymath, able to connect ideas from different fields and create solutions that no one else can see. This is your arsenal. It's time to learn how to use it. Part 2. The construction. Building your brand in the world with a solid foundation of self-knowledge, a resilient mindset, and an arsenal of developing skills. It's time to move from theory to the arena. Differentiation doesn't happen inside your head. It is forged in action, in consistent execution, and in the courage to show up in the world. This second part is about transforming your internal potential into tangible results and an external reputation that reflects who you truly are. Chapter 4. The Architecture of Discipline. The power of atomic habits. Dreams, purposes, and good intentions are free. What separates dreamers from doers is a single word: discipline. But discipline is not what many think. It is not a burst of Herculean motivation that lasts for a week. It is the silent, invisible architecture of your daily habits. James Clear, in his book, Atomic Habits, demystifies success. He argues that massive changes don't come from massive actions, but from small, consistent improvements over time. Getting 1% better each day leads to a result that is 37 times better at the end of a year. It is the power of compound interest, applied to personal development. To differentiate yourself, you don't need an overnight revolution. You need a system of habits that pushes you day after day in the direction of your goals. Discipline isn't about having willpower. It's about designing an environment and a system that make the right action the easiest action. How to build the architecture of discipline. Start ridiculously small. The 2-minute rule. Want to read more? Don't commit to reading a book a week. Commit to reading 1 page a day. Want to exercise? Don't sign up for the gym to go 5 times a week. Commit to doing 10 push-ups when you wake up. The idea is to make the start of the habit so easy that it's impossible to say no. Once you start, momentum carries you. Habit stacking. Anchor a new habit to an existing one. Instead of saying, "I will meditate every day," say, "After I brush my teeth in the morning, I will meditate for 1 minute." Your brain already has a neural pathway for brushing your teeth. You're just adding a new car to that train. Design your environment for success. You are a product of your environment. Want to eat healthier? Don't leave junk food in sight. Put a fruit bowl in the center of your kitchen. Want to be less distracted by your phone? Leave it in another room while you work. Make the cues for good habits obvious and the cues for bad habits invisible. Never miss twice. Consistency is key, but perfection is the enemy. You will fail. There will be days when you don't follow through on your habit. The golden rule is never miss twice in a row. Miss the gym on Monday? That's fine. But on Tuesday, you go. No matter what. 1 mistake is an accident. 2 mistakes is the beginning of a new, bad habit. Your differentiation will not be built on a single act of genius, but on the sum of 1,000 small acts of discipline. Your daily habits are the bricks with which you build the cathedral of your purpose. Build them with intention. Chapter 5. The Courage to be Imperfect. Massive Action and the Vulnerability. Factor: there is a graveyard filled with brilliant ideas, innovative projects, and extraordinary potential. The name of this graveyard is someday. The disease that kills these dreams is analysis paralysis, perfectionism. Many people wait for the perfect moment to act. They wait to have the perfect plan, complete knowledge, absolute confidence. But the perfect moment never comes. Differentiation happens when you have the courage to act before you feel ready. It's the principle of ready, fire, aim. You prepare just enough, you fire, act, and with feedback from the real world, you adjust your aim. Acting in imperfection requires vulnerability. Researcher Brené Brown defines vulnerability not as weakness, but as uncertainty, risk, and emotional exposure. It is the courage to show up and be seen when you have no control over the outcome. It's launching your YouTube video, even knowing you might receive criticism. It's pitching your business idea, even though it might be rejected. It's volunteering to lead a project, even without having all the answers. Vulnerability is the birthplace of innovation, creativity, and change. And, crucially, it is the path to human connection. People don't connect with your perfection. They connect with your humanity. Your willingness to be imperfect, to admit you don't know everything, to share your struggles and your learnings, is what makes you real, relatable, and inspiring. It's what transforms your personal brand from a corporate facade into a human story that people can connect with. How to embrace the courage to be imperfect. Adopt the beta mindset. Tech companies release products in beta version all the time. They know it's not perfect, but they release it to get feedback and improve. Treat your initiatives the same way. Your first blog post, your first podcast, your first project. Consider them version 1.0. Version 2.0 will be better, but it will only exist if 1.0 is launched. Define failure. Upwards. Instead of defining success as achieving result X, define it as having the courage to try. If you applied for that challenging job, you won, regardless of whether you got it or not. If you published your article, you won, regardless of how many people read it. Celebrate the action, not just the outcome. Collect scars, not empty trophies. The most interesting people are not those with a shelf full of flawless trophies, but those with stories to tell, with scars that prove they have been in the arena. Every attempt, every no, every project that didn't work out is a scar, a lesson, a part of your unique story. They are proof of your courage. Perfection is a mirage. Action is real. Embrace the mess, the uncertainty, and the vulnerability. It is in the arena of imperfection that true differentiators are forged. Chapter 6. The Voice of Difference. Communicating your value with mastery. You can have the noblest purpose, the strongest mindset, the rarest skills, and the discipline of a monk. But if you cannot communicate your value to the world, your differentiation will remain a well-kept secret. Communication is the bridge between your inner world and the outer world. It is the ability to articulate who you are, what you do, and why it matters in a way that resonates with the right people. It is not about empty self-promotion, but about service. It is about educating, inspiring, and connecting. How to develop the voice of your difference. Become a storyteller. Facts and data inform, but stories move and connect. Human beings are wired to respond to narratives. Instead of just listing your skills on a resume, tell the story of how you acquired them. Instead of describing your product, tell the story of the problem it solves in someone's life. Your journey, your struggles, your victories. That is your story. Learn to tell it. Define your personal brand. A personal brand isn't about creating a logo for yourself. It is the practice of consistency. It's about what people say about you when you're not in the room. It is the sum of your actions, your words, your values, and the quality of your work. Intentionally define how you want to be known. Do you want to be the person who is incredibly reliable? The person who always brings a creative perspective? The person who simplifies the complex? Whatever it is, live that brand consistently in everything you do. Practice active listening. Communication is a two-way street. The best communicators are often the best listeners. Before you try to convey your message, seek to deeply understand the needs, fears, and desires of your audience. When you understand people, you can frame your message in a way that truly helps them instead of just talking about yourself. Find your medium. Not everyone needs to be an Instagram influencer. Find the platform or medium that best aligns with your talents and your audience. Are you a good writer? Start a blog or a newsletter. Are you a good speaker? Create a podcast or YouTube videos. Do you connect well in person? Focus on networking, events, and public speaking. Master one or two channels instead of trying to be everywhere mediocrity. Your voice is the melody of your differentiation. Learn to compose it, practice it, and share it with the world. This is how you transform your internal value into external influence. Part 3. The Expansion. Leaving a legacy and redefining victory. You have built the foundation and the building. Now, it is time to open the doors and connect your construction to the world. The expansion phase is about transcending the I to focus on the we. It is here that differentiation becomes synonymous with impact and victory is redefined as legacy. Personal success is gratifying, but lasting meaning comes from using your unique gifts to lift others up. Chapter 7. The Value Network. Connecting with Purpose. No individual, no matter how brilliant or differentiated, achieves great things alone. The expression, "you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with," is a profound truth. Your environment and your connections can be a tailwind that propels you or an anchor that holds you down. However, traditional networking is often seen as a transactional and selfish practice. The approach of someone who differentiates themselves is different. It's about building a value network. The focus is not, "What can I get?" but rather, "What can I offer?" How to build a value network. Give first and give generously. Before you ask for anything, find ways to add value to the people you admire. Share an article that might interest them. Connect them with someone who can help them. Offer your feedback or your skill on a small project. Play the long game. Genuine generosity builds trust and relationships that last a lifetime. Be the curator of your circle. Be extremely selective with whom you allow into your inner circle. Look for people who challenge you, who inspire you, who operate at a higher level, and who are not afraid to give you honest feedback. Likewise, distance yourself from people who are chronically negative, cynical, or complacent. Your energy is your most precious resource. Protect it fiercely. Seek mentors and be a mentor. Find people who have already walked the path you want to travel and learn from them. A good mentor can save you years of trial and error. Equally important, when you reach a certain level of proficiency, turn around and extend a hand to those who are just starting. Teaching is one of the most powerful ways to learn and solidify your own knowledge as well as being the foundation of building a legacy. Connect beyond your bubble. True innovation happens at the intersection of different fields and ideas. Make a conscious effort to connect with people from different industries, cultures, and backgrounds. These weak ties are often the source of the most unexpected opportunities and insights. Your network is not just a collection of contacts. It is a living ecosystem of support, inspiration, and opportunity. By building it on the basis of value and purpose, you not only accelerate your own growth but also create a ripple of positive impact around you. Chapter 8. The Compass of Adaptation. Navigating Impermanence. The only constant in the universe is change. Technology evolves, markets transform, industries are disrupted. The person who differentiates themselves and succeeds is not the strongest or the most intelligent, but the most adaptable. Your identity, your why, should be your anchor, firm and constant. But your strategies, your tools, and your skills should be like a sail, ready to adjust and capture the winds of change. Rigidity is the recipe for irrelevance. How to master the art of adaptation. Marry your purpose, but divorce your tools. Your purpose of helping people communicate better is timeless, but the tool to do so may change. Yesterday, it was blogs. Today, it's podcasts and TikTok. Tomorrow, it could be a virtual reality platform. Don't get romantically attached to the form. Be willing to learn the new tool to continue serving your purpose. Practice. Unlearning. Sometimes the biggest obstacle to learning something new is the need to unlearn something old. Beliefs that served you in the past can become limitations in the future. Be willing to question your own assumptions, to admit that a strategy no longer works, and to abandon old habits to make way for new ones. Develop anti-fragile resilience. The concept of anti-fragility, from Nassim Taleb, goes beyond resilience. The resilient withstands shock and remains the same. The anti-fragile, in contrast, benefits from chaos, stress, and volatility. It becomes stronger. How? By constantly experimenting, by having multiple small bets instead of one big one, and by learning to love volatility as a source of opportunity. In an uncertain world, being anti-fragile is the ultimate differentiation. Maintain a child's curiosity. Children learn at an astonishing rate because they are infinitely curious. They are not afraid to ask why. As we age, we often trade curiosity for certainty. Resist this trade. Stay curious about the world, about new ideas, about different people. Curiosity is the engine of learning and adaptation. Your ability to differentiate yourself in the long run will not depend on how right you were in the past, but on how quickly you can adapt to the future. Your internal compass, your why, will keep you on the right course, while your ability to adjust your sails will keep you moving, no matter which way the wind blows. Chapter 9. Victory Redefined, Legacy as the Final Metric. And so, we arrive at the summit of the mountain. Looking back, we see the journey. The excavation to find purpose, the forging of the mindset, the building of habits and courage, the expansion through connections and adaptation. And now, from up here, the definition of succeeding becomes crystal clear. Succeeding in life is not an event, not a destination, not a number in your bank account or a title on your business card. These are byproducts, not the main prize. True victory is the creation of a legacy. Legacy is not something reserved for billionaires and presidents. Legacy is the sum of the impact you have on the lives you touch. It is the difference you make, no matter the scale. It is the coworker who felt seen and encouraged by you and therefore had the courage to pursue their own dream. It is the customer whose life was genuinely improved by the product or service you created with so much care and intention. It is the reader or listener on the other side of the world who found hope and a new perspective in your story. It is your family and friends who became better people for having had you in their lives. The final metric of your differentiation is not how much you stood out, but how much you lifted others up by doing so. True victory is living a life so aligned with your authentic purpose that your very existence becomes an act of service. Conclusion: the scar that becomes a signature. The journey to stand out and succeed in life is not about becoming someone you are not. It is, ironically, about becoming the purest, most courageous, and most potent version of who you already are. It is about taking your idiosyncrasies, your unconventional passions, your unique life experiences, even your scars, and understanding that they are not flaws to be hidden, but the very marks of your authenticity. They are the grooves on a key that make it the only one capable of opening a specific door. The path we have described, from the inner excavation of the foundation, through the disciplined execution of the construction, to the generous impact of the expansion, is not easy. It requires introspection, courage, discipline, and a resilience that borders on stubbornness. There will be days of loneliness, frustration, and doubt. But the alternative is infinitely more painful. The pain of regret. The pain of reaching the end of your life and realizing you lived a copy when you could have been an original. The pain of knowing that your music died with you, never played. Therefore, the final question is not whether you are capable of differentiating yourself. The question is whether you will have the courage to start. Start today. Discover your cathedral. Forge your mindset. Stack your skills. Build your habits. Embrace your imperfection. Find your voice. Connect with purpose. Adapt with grace. And in doing all this, you will not just be differentiating yourself from the rest of the world. You will be becoming unforgettable. You will be, in every sense of the word, succeeding. And that victory will leave an echo long after you are gone.